I'd like to very briefly take a step back before we start looking forward into the future. First to 1997, which many of us will remember. I think you're all pretty much the same generation as me. The internet was only fully commercialized in 1995. So at this time, it was quite a step forward when Clayton Christensen wrote the highly influential The Innovator's Dilemma. Christensen had an ecological approach to innovation and disruption. Don't focus on the forest fire, but focus on the underlying causes. Focus on the over-homogenization of species, the over-management and over-protection of the woodland that can lead to catastrophic fires. That's the metaphor. In 2011, Christensen and Ehring wrote a book that really didn't get much of a hearing, not as much as I think it should have done, possibly because it was followed a year later in 2012 by the Year of the MOOC. The book was The Innovative University, and again, Christensen and Ehring stressed the ecology of disruption. In this reading, it wasn't Napster that was the problem, it was the alienation of music buyers by rising prices and by the inflexibility of the music industry. Similarly, the Innovative University looked at forces for homogenization in higher education, such as the Carnegie ladder effect in the US, that led to a generation of Harvard imitations and steeply rising costs for students. Disruptive innovations arise at the bottom of the pyramid and are often ignored by the incumbents, as they seem to be offering inferior products, serving low willingness to pay segments, and the incumbents deemed to be unprofitable. However, these innovators learn fast and soon eat into the established markets. There are many underlying ecological factors in higher education today that we need to fully understand. The traditional one of rising costs is increasingly relevant in stressed financial times, both in terms of actual costs and opportunity costs of not launching into a career early in your life. There are also generational and technological changes that are closely interlinked as new digital native generations with a just-in-time approach to knowledge acquisition, increased skepticism of authority, and an increased reliance on peers, who are also increasingly empowered through social media and extended social networking. And of course, it's technology itself, which is on a continuing ergonomic evolution, molding itself into people's lifestyles. So I think we need to understand these changes in society that are working through and have led to a desire for change. The early MOOC models were entirely free to users and therefore could be considered irrelevant to established universities, as they would appeal to those who would not, in any case, have the commitment and financial resources for a full university program. The low completion rates, and in most cases, limited pedagogic flexibility, reinforce to some the view of these as inferior products. According to Christensen, this type of skepticism is a common feature of incumbent market leaders and their views of new and innovative competitors. However, early innovation will always evolve, and then we need to take it more seriously. Last week, Coursera announced its specialization program with connected MOOCs, each at a small but not insignificant cost, and carrying certification that is also likely to be of interest to self-directed portfolio builders. Perhaps Daphne will tell us a little bit more about this when she joins us by video link this afternoon. But it seems to me that we have some evidence here of Christensen's thesis that innovators will steadily erode mainstream markets as they develop and learn. Adopting Christensen's way of thinking, it becomes less relevant what a MOOC is or isn't, and what they may become, but the underlying ecology is already established. New innovations will fill any void that exists. Christensen, in his 1997 work, points out to the difficulties of fostering innovation within established organizations. This is the innovator's dilemma, with their legacy ways of thinking and doing. And as Sir Adrian pointed out, one of the reasons that we've become involved in MOOCs at the University of London is to find a way through the innovator's dilemma and make sure that we understand and can benefit from innovation as it happens. I'd be very interested to hear from others how they are doing so as well.